And you know, I think there is one really key Bible verse which underpins this mentality, which I think is a bit childish when we it's not only childish, it's fleshly, it's carnal. And there's a Bible verse, I can't remember the exact passage, I'll put the passage link up above, but basically the Apostle Paul, he's rebuking some people that are starting to identify in little Christian cliques. And he says, some of you say I belong to Apollos, and some of you say I belong to Paul, and some of you say I belong to Cephas. He's just rattling off these different names who were obviously apostles, preachers, teachers that were going around and teaching about Jesus. And these people, whoever was their apostle or whoever, you know, went to their area and taught them the gospel, they were saying, I belong to this person. In other words, it was the first Christian denominations that were starting to form, like, oh, we identify with this apostle, we identify with this preacher or teacher, we identify with... And Paul rebuked them and he said, aren't you being merely human when you do this? He goes, I planted the seed, Apollos watered, but it's God who gives the increase. He goes, sure, we're all workers for God's kingdom. Some plant, some water the seed, but God is the one who gives the increase. And he goes, we should be identifying with God, with Jesus, not with which human is your teacher. And I really feel like that era that started to creep in, that it's our human nature, it's carnal nature. We want to feel part of a clique. We want to feel like our group is better than others, or like we've got it all figured out and others don't. And it's like, I believe it comes from a place of insecurity. I believe it comes from a place where we feel like because our group might teach things a certain way, and then if another group is also right, well, oh, am I in the wrong group? Oh, does that mean they're right? Like, it comes from a place of insecurity. Whereas when you realize, like, no, the group you belong to is Jesus Christ. Like, that's who we belong to. Sure, fine, like you might have certain denomination that you're a part of, that you go to church on a Sunday or whatever day you go, and you might have certain people that teach you, and yes, it is right to give honor and thanks, you know, sorry, not give honor and thanks, but to be grateful and to show appreciation for, you know, the church that you belong to. Like that's all good, it's all well and good, but I believe we need to, it starts to get unhealthy when we identify more with that than we do with Jesus. And I just wanted to just share that, just to encourage us to like be united and be free from, look, there's nothing wrong with like believing, you know, really agreeing with whatever denomination you're in and the doctrine that they teach and all that, but just keep in mind what unites us is Jesus. When God looks down from heaven, all he sees, are you his child or are you not? He doesn't see all these, and in heaven we're not going to have all these different denominations. You're either a child of God and you're in heaven, or you're not. And all throughout the Bible, it's you're either a believer or you're not. You're either a son of God or you're not. You're either a child of God or you're not. You're either grafted into God's family by faith or you're not. There's no cliques. There's no like, I belong to Apollos, I belong to Paul, I belong to Peter. No, Paul rebuked that and he's like, no, like get that out of you. It's God, it's Jesus who we belong to. And again, I want to re-emphasize, there's nothing wrong with having an appreciation and a love for whatever branch of Christianity you might be a part of. There's nothing wrong with that, and being proud of it, there's nothing wrong with that, but we shouldn't let that become more important than who we belong to and what unites us. We're all part of God's body. We're all part of God's church. You know, if you have those foundational truths in common that I said at the start of this video. So anyway, God bless all of you, and I'll see you on the next one.